Hello everyone, my name is Akanksha Agarwala. This is a presentation for Deliverable 2. My team members are Austin Blaze, Nicholas Wong, Rajat Nagafkar, and Suryadeep Nalana. Our project name is Squander. For our agenda, we will give you a brief overview about our project, which will lead into our minimal viable product. Then we will be discussing about the technologies being used to create our application. We will then explain the user stories and acceptance criteria along with sprint backlog and product backlog. Later, we will be discussing about the project progress, the mock-up designs, followed by test cases, and end with our retrospective.
Project description. Squander is an application that aims to help users organize and plan the disposal of their waste. The application uses machine learning algorithm to recognize waste from images taken from the place, such as households, construction site, and public places, to enable user to distinguish recyclable waste and provide a way for its proper disposal. Users can analyze what amount of waste he is producing so that he can minimize or recycle the waste in efficient way. It also provides mechanism to know individual contribution to environment protection and how its global impact can save our environment. Minimal viable product MVP. A user uses the application to take or upload a picture where that picture stores at backend and runs a recognition model on the image. The model responds with confidence values on labels for recognition. After recognition, we get the results in a categorized list like paper, plastic, metal found, and how many number of them present in the waste. At last, we suggest where to take this waste with quick and easy method by finding the nearest recycling company's location. These are the steps undergoed in the application. Uploading image, then processing it and displaying the image results, and finally finding the nearby location to recycle the waste. Technologies used by the application. The front-end technologies are HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. The machine learning API is Keras. Then the backend is Python, and we integrated with Google Maps API. And the machine learning library is TensorFlow, and the object storage service is Amazon S3. And we also use iOS development toolkit that are Shift and Core ML. Now I'll pass it to my next teammate.
Hi guys, I want to take you through the user stories. So we have a sample of a user story and a sample of a task in here. The task and user stories are the the work that we have to do during a sprint, and user stories are from the perspective of a user, telling us what features they want and to achieve um, something out of that. So the tasks are anything that supports a user story, meaning that if a user story requires a dependency on anything, that comes under the task. So give an instance, a web application user story, a user wants to access have a website of their to-do list, and an enabler would be that to rent out a server to host the service on, and also to get a IP address, a static IP address, and a host name. So all of them would come under enablers. Going into the user stories, I have shown here a sample of a user story that we have designed. So at the top of the user story, what you see is the hierarchy of the story, meaning that um, there are some projects and there is a Squander software project, and inside that there is an MVP epic, and under that comes the story. So the first line is the story's summary that uses some of the keywords from the story to easily identify what the story is about. And then we have the description of the story. So the description, we are following the agile um, agile format of describing a user story. So it says, as a user, Mark wants to do something so that he can achieve something. Um, so that's the user story description there. And then we have the activities. So activities, as the sprint starts and as the developer starts working on them, they um, give updates on the user stories in the comment section, or they log in due times, they do add in as blockers, or any other activities would show up at the activity page, which is at the project management side. And now we have a list of user stories which we have identified from the perspective of a persona. So as a sprint that starts, the stories are assigned to a specific users, I mean specific developers, or people who are working on that. And once and they would have a specific deadline dates, and they would be updating, giving up regular updates during the sprint meetings. And yeah, and moving on to the task, we have a short description of the task. So one of the main idea of the project is to analyze recyclable waste from an image. So for that, we are using a machine learning model, and the machine learning model is none of a concern of the user. He doesn't care how we process the image and identify the recyclables. He just want to identify recyclable images. So that's why name training a machine learning model comes under a task. And it follows the same hierarchy as a story, and they are on the same level. A story and a task comes under an epic, and they could have a subtask uh, for each of the tasks. So it also has a short description on what the task is about, and also it has a short summary of what the task is about, and then it has a description, but that won't be in a task format that's used in Agile. Also, it would have acceptance. So acceptance are what enables what defines a stories to be completed. So when a developer delivering it, he have to make sure that he meets all the acceptance criteria, which would be I'm sorry to bypass that. My friend would be taking you guys through that, and then we have a list of tasks that we have identified that would be required to deliver the features during the sprint. So even that is managed the same way as we manage stories. They are assigned to specific users, specific developers, and they would be updating, giving regular activity updates on the tasks. So that's what I have for you guys. Um, my friend would continue the rest. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Rajat Nagaukar and I will be talking about acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria are set of predefined requirements that are required to mark a user story complete. So here I have used a format such as scenario, given, when, then to describe an acceptance criteria. First, we will see a user story with ID SQN13, which states that as a user, I want to capture image of garbage created by household waste so that Squander app can tell me which items can I recycle. Here, the scenario is capture image of a garbage. So the given condition will be user tries to capture image of items to be recycled. When capture image button is clicked and then image of a garbage waste is captured. Next, I will be discussing about XQN14, which is the other user story, which states that as a homeowner, Mark needs to upload garbage image so that he can find recycling locations for construction leftover. For this, the scenario is upload image, and the given condition will be Mark has captured image of garbage or selected from gallery. When when Mark clicks on image capture, then he will be able to upload a garbage image for processing. Next user story with the ID is XQN18. Here it states that as a user, Mark wants to view image uploaded so that he can verify the uploaded image. Here the scenario is he will be able to view image. The given condition in this case is Mark capture image of items to be recycled. When condition is he clicked on capture button and then Mark is able to view uploaded image. Next I will be discuss on SQN15, which states that as a user, Jill wants to select image already in the gallery so that he upload the image to the app to find which items to recycle. Here the scenario is select image from gallery. The given condition will be image is available in gallery. So the when condition will be clicked on gallery icon, capture screen, and then we will be able to select image from the gallery. The next story is ID is SQN16, which states that as a user, Jill wants to get list of items that can be recycled with name so that he can know a recycle item name. Here the scenario is a list of recyclable items, and the given condition states that user uploads photo of garbage to be recycled. When processing of uploaded image is successful, and then list of items with the name is available. Next user story is with the ID SQN17, which states that as a party host, Jill would like to know a good place to dispose of organic waste so that he feels good about managing the waste. Here the scenario is find compost location. Given condition is Jill knows what amount of recycled waste is available, and the when condition will be when he clicks on recycle button, then he should be able to get list of good places to dispose of organic waste. Another user story with the ID SQN21 states that as a user, I want to view the results of uploaded image with the tag on items that can be recycled so that I can distinguish between a recyclable and non-recyclable waste. Here the given scenario is view upload image. Given user uploads photo of garbage to be recycled. When processing of the image is successful, then he should be able to see tags on image of recycled items. Another user story with the ID is SQN22. As a mechanic, Simon wants to find a nearest recycling location for metallic waste so that we can get money for scraps. Here, the scenario is finding the nearest recycle location. The given condition will be results of items that can be recycled are available, and when processing of the image is successful, then Simon should get recycling locations near to current location. Next,
I'll be talking about our sprint and product backlogs. For this sprint, we focused on preparing and laying down the groundwork for our next deliverable. After our last sprint, we thought we needed a little more clarity on our project, so we did more research to get a better idea of what we wanted from the project in both form and function. We researched more frameworks for our application and past machine learning models and came to an agreement on what we wanted to do. In this sprint, we moved forward and designed the UI for the application with a mock-up design that Rajat will be talking about later, and we developed the base model for our garbage classification. As an overall product, these are the features we would like to implement and the tasks we would need to do to develop these features. Our application is split up into two main parts: the actual application UI and all the backend involved with it, as well as the machine learning model to classify the garbage. So far, we have the UI designed and a working model. However, to achieve our MVP, we still need to develop our application and set up the gateway API for the application and the model to work together. Some additional features we would like but are not absolutely necessary is the feature to tag more than one item per image and to implement the uploading and recognition of videos. In this backlog, you can see what we finished and what we plan to do moving forward in our next sprint. In this sprint, as I said before, we made the base model for our application and designed and created a mock design for our UI. And in the next sprint, we are looking to improve our model and start developing the application and gateway API. To update everyone on the progress of our model, the accuracy of our model is around 64%, which is not great, but upon further investigation, the model is very good at detecting images that are clear in an open view, like this wine bottle on the right, which says the wine bottle is glass with 100% confidence. But most of the errors from the model came from images that were not in plain view or in very obscure angles. But either way, the next steps for the model are to improve the training and the validation sets with cross validation, and we're going to look for more data to train the model with. Right now, we are training the model with about 1,300 images, but with only about 250 images per tag, with the tags being cardboard, glass, metal, plastic, paper, and miscellaneous trash. So for the next sprint, we'll be trying to double our volume of data and see how it improves the model. We will also be looking to increase the model's layers, making the model deeper and better at recognizing these kinds of images after training. As you can see in the model we have now, it is rather shallow. This is because we are prioritizing getting a working version of the model before we focus on improving accuracy. Because training deeper models takes a much longer time to train, and we wanted something to work with, even if it wasn't super accurate.
Hello everyone, my name is Rajat Nagaukar and I will be talking about mockup design. I have created a design using online tool known as Fluid UI and later I will be implementing in Xcode using Swift. So first I will describe about the home screen. In the home screen I have in the top bar that is a menu bar I have given a name for the app that is Squander. In the middle section it has a button and in the bottom we have tab bar which states that recycle, stats, and a contribution, which are the three different screens. Mm, when a user has a waste that he want to recycle, then he clicks on the middle button, then he gets navigate to the capture screen where the camera opens and if you want to capture the photo then he clicks on the capture button or if you want to upload photo from the gallery then he selects photo from the gallery. Once the photo is uploaded, a processing screen appears which states that mm, uh, we, the photo is been processed and it is in a processing state. Mm, After the processing of the image is done, a result screen is appeared where uh, the photo which is uploaded is seen and below that the list of the recyclable items found in that image is displayed. In that list, the name of the recyclable items along with the quantity of the recyclable items is displayed in the image in the uploaded image or after the that is the processed image tags names such as the name of the recyclable item, that is if it is a plastic will be displayed on that image. If it is a metal, the tag will be created across it. Mm. Once this is done, then if a user want to recycle things, then he press on the recycle button. Then he navigates to a screen known as company list screen, where he will get the list of the companies that recycle the things that he got from the results. you will be able to see a map and plots or points of the locations where the recycling companies are located. Below that, you will be able to see the list of the recycling companies and his distance from his current location. Mm. If he is or he want to report his results to the recycling company, then he press the report button in the app. In the main screen, now we have a stats features where the user want to keep track of the things that he has recycled frequently, such as if he has done recycling for household waste, then he will be able to see the history of his household items, and when he did the recycle, and if he had done a recycle for a construction site, then he will be able to see that item in the list, and so on. And we also have a feature called as uh, contribution, where contribution with contribution the user will be able to get uh, his contribution to the environment by recycling things, how he is globally impacting the environment and saving the nature, which is a main idea of our application.
I'm going to go over the test cases for our application. Basically, test cases are step by step instruction. So, whenever the system is up and running, we can use this instruction to test the application and make sure it is working correctly. So, first we have test cases for home screen. So, the first test case is to browse the application. The expected result is users should be able to access the home page of the app. The second test case is to locate the recycle button. The user should be able to see the recycle button and it should be clickable. Locate the stats button. User should be able to see the stats button and it should be clickable. Next, the user should locate the contribution button. User should be able to see the button and it should be clickable. Locate the nav bar. User can move to all screens on site using the nav bar. Click on the Earth image. The image should be clickable and it should take us to the screen to upload images. Now we will talk about the test cases for camera screen. Locate the capture button. The capture button should be present on the middle bottom side of the screen. Locate the photos button. The photo link will be used to upload image from the gallery and should be present on the bottom left side of the screen. Locate the cancel button. The cancel button should be present on the top right side of the screen. Locate the word stats. The text should be displayed on the middle top side of the screen. Locate the nav bar. User can move to all screens on site using the nav bar. Locate the back button. User should be able to see the back button and it should be clickable. Locate the recycle button. User should be able to see the recycle button and it should be clickable. Now let's talk about the test cases for stat screen. The first test case is to locate the contribution button. User should be able to see the contribution button and it should be clickable. Locate the stats button. User should be able to see the stats button and it should be clickable. Locate the household clickable ribbon. User should be able to see the household ribbon and it should be clickable. Locate the public place clickable ribbon. User should be able to see the public place ribbon and it should be clickable and expanded. Locate the industrial site clickable ribbon. User should be able to see the industrial site ribbon and it should be clickable and expanded. Locate the construction site clickable ribbon. User should be able to see the construction site ribbon and it should be clickable. Now we will talk about the test cases for the contribution screen. The first task case is to locate the word contribute. The text should be displayed on the middle top side of the screen. Now, locate the nav bar. User should be able to move to all screen on site using the nav bar. Locate the back button. User should be able to see the back button and it should be clickable. Locate the recycle button. Users should be able to see the recycle button and it should be clickable. Locate the stats button. User should be able to see the stats button and it should be clickable. Locate the global impact text. User should be able to see the text.
Hi guys, I wanted to take you through the retrospective that we have done. So we have found out what went well and what items requires improvement, and also we came up with an action item list that needs to be implemented for as based on the what needs improvement ideas. Also, I have the idea board that we have used to execute the retrospective. So I'm taking you to the what went well. So here we agreed that all the communication between the team and the expectations for the deliverables were properly set. And we have a proper task, a proper record of task for each team member so that they, and we have it on record so that they could verify it as the week progresses. Also, we find that the quality of the work that everyone has delivered is really good, and they are also organized. So we are happy with what with these aspect of our teamwork during this sprint too. And we also agree that I'm sorry for hiding the content. Um, so we also agree is that what needs improvement is on the better meeting timings, and we also need to be knowledge in what other person is doing. So even though the deliverable was really good, we rarely had any idea what kind of tools the other person had used and what other research materials they have gone through, or the background behind how he did the job that he did. So we would like to share the knowledge among the team. That was one of the points that we discussed. And then we have the action items. So after reading through the improvements, we asked each other to give out an action item plan so that we would vote on what needs to be done. So we have action item on rescheduling the meetings more effectively, meaning that once we lose out on any of the meetings, or if any of the meeting didn't go, had to be canceled, we would use proper tools, mainly using a calendar invite or a Zoom invite to properly reschedule the meeting. And then we would also find a backup meeting time, which is to be used um, when any of the meeting has been canceled. So we have a meeting time on Wednesday that is to be used when meeting time on Monday might be canceled, or we expect the meeting on Friday to be canceled. We would meet up on Wednesday, that so that we already have a default backup meeting timings that everyone is convenient with. We also discussed that the action item being the communication part, apart from the meetings, meaning that we would be all the team members would be communicating with each other through a WhatsApp or our calls, not just on the meetings, but whenever where they're doing tasks. So they would, if they're working on some tasks, they would update that in the story, or send up a Slack message or a WhatsApp message. So that enables us, one thing, to be updated on what the progress of each item is, so that if the person misses the meeting, we still have somebody else to tell us what's happening with them. So the second thing is that it also enables mutual idea sharing and also the knowledge sharing. We would get to know what kind of stuff they have used to do the um, do the deliverables. For example, we have used Figma for um, designing the mockups, and that was a great knowledge. So that was achieved through the so that was not shared during the meetings, but we expect that with a proper communication, we would able to find out that the tools that the teams are using. So these are expected to be done in the next sprint. So this is the idea board that we have. We have each member contributing to the what, when, well column, and then we gave each three vote to be vote on each other's ideas, and from there we selected three. And also improvement, we had the same idea. We gave 2 votes for each member, and we voted on the improvement ideas. And for the action items, we asked to contribute for each of the action items, and we had a vote for each of the team member. So that's the retrospective part of our deliverable. Thank you.